ברוכים הבאים. תודה רבה לכל מי שהגיע. Thank you.
Welcome abundant. Thanks to all those that came. We welcome you.
אנחנו מאוד מתרגשים להיות פה ערב.
We're really excited to be here this evening.
זה פעם ראשונה שאנחנו עושים דבר כזה.
First time we have such a platform.
ויש לנו את הזכות להיות באירוע שהוא מיוחד וראשוני.
So we have the merit to be in a platform like this that's very special and the first one. We are the first to be able to experience this.
אנחנו זוכים להיות פה עם הרב שמרלה, שהוא מורד השמייצה, שחקר הרבה בתחום הזה, ויש לו את הידע ואת הניסיון ההלכתי והתורני והשקפתי.
So we're very lucky to have here Rabbi Shmerla, who's somebody that toiled deeply in this space to help people understand, and not just in the space alone, but from the halachic aspect, from the Torah aspect. And he's put in a lot of work.
ויש לנו... לא, בסדר. ויש לנו פה גם את הרב דייביס, שיש לו גם מומחיות בחלקים שקשורים לתהליכים כאלה של רפואה.
So have Rabbi Hanan Davis, who understands and works with the healing and medicine, therapy.
And אני רק רוצה להגיד הקדמה לפני שאנחנו מתחילים, כדי שיהיה פה איזה בהירות. נקדים משהו.
Introduction.
הרעיון והיוזמה לעשות את ההתכנסות הזו הגיע דווקא מהציבור.
The idea and the ambition for this platform has come from the tzibur.
ואנחנו לא באים פה להביע דעה בשביל בן אדם מסוים או בשביל אנשים, האם זה טוב לעשות משהו כזה או לא טוב לעשות משהו כזה. זה לא השאלה וזה לא המטרה של העניין.
This came as a collective. No one is not directed to like certain group or certain people. This is something that is for the call. I guess בשביל הכלל.
לא בשביל הכלל, גם לא בשביל הפרט. אנחנו לא באים להביע דעה או להגיד שזה טוב או לא טוב, או יש בזה בעיה או אין בזה בעיה. זה עניין אחר שכל אחד לעצמו עושה את החישוב שלו. מה שאנחנו מגלים ואנחנו רואים שיש צורך בקהילה של שומרי תורה ומצוות, שיש שאלות חדשות ששייכות לתחום הזה.
So there's questions and there are new questions that are contributed to this space.
ויש צרכים, צריך לדון בדברים חדשים שלא דנו בהם עד היום בצורה יסודית, תורנית.
So there's a tremendous need to be able to answer any questions or direction, but from a Torah perspective.
ולכן שלא יתפרש, שלא יבינו שיש פה איזו אמירה שאומרת שכן, שצריך או משהו כזה. לא זה העניין. זה חשוב רק להגיד את זה. אנחנו לא באים, ההתכנסות, כי גם היו כמה קולות לפני שהתיישבנו, שאמרו, איך אתם אומרים שזה צריך לעשות, אתם בעד, אתם... לא. אנחנו לא מביאים דעה בעניין הזה, אלא באים לעזור למי שהולך בנתיב כזה, עם שאלות שעולות בתוך העניין.
So there was some, voices and different ideas on this entire saga, and we're not here to... Okay, all the way, hold on.
בכל רום. כן, תשמעו אותך.
אז עוד פעם, סליחה.
אין פה הבעת דעה על הנושא אם הוא טוב או לא, יש פה רק מענה לשאלות שוב.
There's no about there, there's no person here that's smarter than anybody else, whatever it is. This is just a platform to kind of answer the questions that are arising in the current climate, I guess.
אז זה רק הקדמה שחשוב להגיד אותה.
So this is a very important introduction that I want to bring forth to the table.
ואני רוצה להודות לכל מי שהגיע ולכל מי שעזר בהכנות, לאבי ולאריקה שנמצאת פה ולכל אלה שהיו מעורבים בעזרה לערב החשוב הזה.
So first and foremost, you'd like to thank all the people that helped organize, put together, and specifically Erica Buckman and Avi. And okay, and Avi. Try to stay humble. I try to cut that out, but I had to.
אנחנו מקווים ומתפללים שהערב הזה יהיה בו גם יסוד, התחלה, שיהיה מענה לאנשים שומרי תורה ומצוות שנמצאים בתחום הזה, שיהיה להם מענה שיוכלו לבדוק ולשאול ולהרגיש שהם במקום נכון, בלי ספקות.
David starting out with a hope and a prayer that this platform will bring answers to many individuals that are in this space and need some sort of direction.
אז אנחנו חילקנו את זה לשלושה.
So we split this platform into three.
הרב שמרלה, גם קיבלנו שאלות לפני, הוא מתייחס לחלקים שקשורים לעניינים ההלכתיים וההשקפתיים שיש על העניין ששאלו.
So Rabbi Shmerla is before this platform had begun, they had sent out questions to Rabbi Shmerla, pre-submitted, pre-existing questions, and we're going to answer those questions in this platform, from a halachic and Torah standpoint.
ויש חלק שקשור לשאלות שקשורות לתהליך עצמו, של המדיסין, של דרכים של העבודה, או כל מיני שאלות שקשורות לעניינים עצמם של העבודה עצמה, שזה, אני בעזרת השם מדבר על זה קצת, ויש את החלק השלישי, שהוא גם חלק חשוב, שקשור לשלבים של אחרי המסע של המדיסין, שזה הרב דייוויס.
So there's the second part. So the first part we spoke about was the Torah and halachic part of this. The second part is the work of the medicine itself. And the third part is the integration and the after, the post-ceremony, whatever medicine.
אנחנו מתחילים עם הרב שמרלה. אנחנו נתחיל, הרב שמרלה ידבר, וגם יהיה אחר כך אפשרות לשאול שאלות. וגם, מה שלא נספיק הפעם, אנחנו בעזרת השם גם נתכנס אולי עוד פעמים, אבל גם יהיה אפשרות בכתב, ואנחנו בעזרת השם, סליחה שאמרתי ארוך.
I'm not good with long. I could do like segments. אבל
הרב שמרלה יתחיל.
Rabbi Shmerla is going to start by sharing his part.
אחר כך יש שאלות.
And then there will be an open question forum.
ומה שלא נספיק.
And whatever we don't manage to cover today, there will be more of these forums in the coming of days.
אחר כך נעשה לפי הסדר, אנחנו נדבר ונשתדל מה שאפשר לעשות.
And I guess the seder of the evening will be that we will talk and try to cover as much as we can tonight.
אז אנחנו מכבדים את הרב שמרלה, בבקשה.
We honor Rabbi Shmerla, please.
מאנגלית, סוף סוף.
Yeah. Okay. And now we're ready to hear some English. Okay. If anybody needs any Hebrew translation.
Shalom Aleichem to everyone. As Asher Yeshno Poi, those who are here. As Asher Benenu Poi, those who are on Zoom. I first want to thank David Bar for organizing such an evening. It is indeed an evening that has much importance. The first time I think that such an evening ever was organized, and I hope it will be Kvad HaTorah and Tifarto, that people should understand more about psychedelics, about what's acceptable, what's not acceptable, have guidance from a theoretical point of view and from a practical point of view as well. I also want to thank those people who sent Shilas. The truth is that all those questions that were sent cover more or less what I had in mind to speak about, but it's nice to see exactly how people put down their questions. I'm going to try to cover them all. The first question that was sent is as follows. Is this something that should be used only for mental health reasons, or is it something people should use for spiritual growth? Okay? Is this, first of all, we have to define this. Okay? This means psychedelics in general. Psychedelics is a big term. It includes mushrooms, it includes ayahuasca, it includes wachuma, it includes bufo, it includes ketamine maybe, it includes sassafras canna. There's a lot of, there's some others that people never heard of. There's yopo, there's all different kinds of psychedelics. All of them.
Does it include breath work?
Breath work is not a psychedelic, it's not a substance.
Okay. Important to differentiate.
Yes. Yes, it has nothing to do, even though breath work could bring a person to almost the same experience as psychedelics. And for people, especially people who are on medication, who for some reason cannot do psychedelics, breath work is a very, very valuable alternative. But the topic tonight is about psychedelics. Is this something that should be used only for mental health reasons or for spiritual growth? And I'm going to preface my words with what David Bar said before. We are not going to paskin on individual shilas, if one particular person should do it or should not do it. What I'm going to say is just general. We talk about mental health reasons. Mental health reasons includes people who suffer from anxiety, people who suffer from depression, people who suffer from addictions, people who suffered from panic attacks, and some other conditions. All these conditions and more have their root in trauma. And that's why people turn to psychedelics. Why don't they go to regular talk therapists? Because talk therapists, I don't think, ever cured people from trauma, and never will. Because when a person suffers trauma, the trauma is absorbed in the subconscious part of the mind. Talk therapy addresses the conscious part of the mind. That's not where the trauma is stored. That's not where the trauma is locked in. And therefore, talk therapists will never be able to heal trauma. There's other therapies out there that are helpful for trauma. Somatic therapy, IFS, craniosacral, hypnotherapy, and many others that are really helpful in healing trauma. However, they will take a long time. Psychedelics is a tremendous shortcut. People could achieve in a matter of months what would take years to achieve. I personally have experienced more than once people who suffered from depression or other conditions for years and years. And they did psychedelics one time, one night, and they were completely cured. It's a minority of cases. Most of the time, psychedelics will require much more than just one session. But it gives a glimpse to the power of healing that psychedelics carry. And therefore, I consider it a mitzvah. It's not a chiyuv. A mitzvah for somebody who suffers from any of these conditions to consider doing psychedelics ceremony. The person has to be evaluated. It's not for everybody. Even when it's for somebody, it's not necessarily, the person is not necessarily ready for it right now. Sometimes the person needs some other type of work before he's ready to do psychedelics. But at least it's something that the person should. It's a mitzvah. It's not a chiyuv for a person to consider psychedelics. This is in the field of mental health. People who want to do it for spiritual growth, people who are not suffering from mental issues, but they want to do it for spiritual growth, this is a totally different situation. And it's not something that could be answered on a general basis, but only on an individual basis, and we already said we are not going to address that. But I'm going to combine my answer together with another question that was asked, if there is any makor in Chazal, in the Torah, about psychedelics. I personally have not found any makor. But I could tell you one thing. There's few types of psychedelics. There's mushrooms that contain psilocybin. There's 5-MeO-DMT, such as Yopo and such as Bufo. And there's ayahuasca, which is a combination of ayahuasca and chacruna. Particularly in ayahuasca, it's a combination of two plants. Chacruna is a plant that provides the DMT, which is a psychoactive ingredient. And ayahuasca is there to help the process. There's another way to prepare ayahuasca. It's by using ayahuasca and acacia wood. Acacia wood contains 6 times more DMT than chacruna. Acacia wood is called atzei shitim. In other words, the Mishkan was built with wood that had a high concentration of DMT, of psychedelics. The Mishkan was built with psychedelics. You know, I'm not here to say pshatim exactly why, but I think it's quite interesting and significant. It says in the Zohar, Atzei shitim oimdim eilu malochim. Atzei shitim are compared to malochim. At the same time, it says in Svarim that Atzei shitim is gematria Satan. So here we have the Atzei shitim that are compared to malochim, and we have Atzei shitim that are compared to Satan. And I think this is a perfect illustration of what psychedelics could do. It could be used for growth and for healing. And it's like Malachim. It says in Parshas Pinchas, in the Zohar, that Chotu b'shitim v'nifchapu b'shitim. It's mashma that there's a koyach ha'refuah in shitim. At the same time, shitim is matria satan. People who want to do it for spiritual growth, it depends on the people. For some people, it really helps them grow in Yerushalayim, in Avodas HaTfilah, in Iskarus to HaKadosh Baruch Hu, and their whole Avodas Hashem gets elevated. And for some people, it's just the opposite. They feel that this is a source of spirituality. They don't need to concentrate in avodah and on limud Torah and on other things. They found a new way of connecting to Hashem, and it really turned them away from the true purpose of a Yid on this earth. So a person has to be very careful. If a person does it for healing, it's a mitzvah. If a person tries to do it for spiritual growth, it has to be carefully evaluated. I'm going to infringe on the chelek of my shutfim, but I do want to say something over here. I said that people who want to do it for healing, it's a mitzvah, it's a chiyuv to at least consider such a thing. I want to make it clear that as much as it's a mitzvah to consider, it's an aveira to consider doing it on your own. It's very easy to go on the internet and to get magical mushrooms and to put some music in your living room, to relax on your couch, and to take a couple of grams of mushroom and go on a trip. It's a isur gomo. There's no heter for that. To go on a journey without a sitter who is there to make sure that you're safe, to make sure that while in your trip you don't have a vision that you have to take another 10 grams and overdose, to make sure that you're not panicking and jump out of the window because you want to commit suicide from all the visions you have, things that we know these things have happened and could happen. Doing psychedelics is a safe thing when it's in the right environment. When it's done without the right environment, it's a isur gomo. Nobody should ever say that I permitted such a thing. Question number 2. Is it a mitzvah to obey the law of the land? No, I'm sorry. It is a mitzvah to obey the law of the land. How does that apply to psychedelic work? I will answer as a religious Jew. I will answer with another question. Imagine that the American government bans all antibiotics, and Rahman Yitzran, somebody is suffering from infection, pneumonia, or whatever, and he could go on the internet and buy, a run of antibiotics to cure himself. Should he abide to the law and just daven to Hashem, or does he have a chiyuv of his status to get antibiotic in the black market and take? I think it's obvious to all that Dina de Malchus Dina doesn't apply to things that relate to your private life and not things that relate to your health. If that's what you need in order to heal, no government could rule that you're not allowed to do it. They don't want you to do it. That's their problem. You have to do what you have to do. When what's at stake is doing psychedelics, which might cure a person in a matter of weeks or months, or be stuck with other therapies that will take at best a few years to heal him, I don't think that there's a shaila here. Question number 3. Is that a form of forbidden witchcraft? Are psychedelic a type of kishuf? I don't know. To me, there are plants that were created 5,784 years ago by the Ribbon Shalom. Unfortunately, we came to the point that, if you take a pill, that's Ki Ani Hashem Roifecho. If you take plants, that's kishuf. Okay? What Hashem created is kishuf. What the lab created, that's Ki Ani Hashem Roifecho. Doesn't sound right to me. We live in a world that has educated us that if if you're sick with a physical disease, somebody suffers from diabetes, goes to the doctor, he gets prescription for insulin, gets an insulin pump, taken care of. Person has an infection, goes to the doctor, gets a prescription for antibiotics, in a few days, taken care of. If a person suffers from anxiety, let him go to a therapist for the rest of his life. If a person is suffering from depression, let him go to a therapist for the rest of his life. All, for all mental health issues, we are used to the concept that, it's a matter of years, a lifetime. Therapists and psychiatrists will tell you that you can't cure anxiety. You can just manage it. Just keep on taking on your pills and you'll be good. So the Chisaron Emunah. The Ribono Shel Olam put into the world plants that have antibiotic properties, and Ribono Shel Olam put into the world plants that could cure from more choiro, from anxiety, from depression. Is the emunah that we have to have, that Ribono Shel Olam prepared for us for every type of disease, whether physical or mental. This is one of the questions. How can we understand the fact that there is something so powerful that grows from the ground in our world? How could we understand it? We don't have to understand it. We just have to accept it, that Ribono Shel Olam took care of us all the way from the beginning of Ma'aseh Bereshis. He prepared everything we need. This is the emunah that we have to have. Psychedelics are not sorcery. It's not kishuf. It's not avodah zarah. But it seems really magical. A person in his trip starts seeing visions, unbelievable things about the past, about the present, about the future. I know a woman who suffered from depression for 40 years. She came to an ayahuasca ceremony. In one night she was cured. What happened? She told me that in our trip she saw that when her mother was pregnant of her, she was really pregnant of twins. But her twin never made it. And her entire life, she has been mourning her twin. That's why she was suffering from depression from young age. She said, as far as she could remember, she told me, I've been suffering from depression and loneliness. She never knew why. But during our trip, she finally understood where it was coming from. She said, in my trip, I was able to understand where it was all coming from. I was able to bring a closure to my peace with the fact that my twin